All right, there we go. A couple technical difficulties there. Good evening, everybody. I'm forecaster Mark Spencer from Neoweather with an update on Hurricane Matthew this evening. I am live streaming to a few places, both the Ohio Firstborn Weather page, our Neoweather page, and also on YouTube as well, which is kind of a new feature for us. So I am following comments on the Ohio Firstborn page, and I should be able to switch back to the Neoweather page if you're watching us from there too. But feel free to post any questions or comments you have as we go. I'm not going to be on too long, maybe about 15 or 20 minutes here. But I do want to give the latest here on Hurricane Michael as we go. Latest update from the National Hurricane Center does have Michael. It's a very strong Category 3 storm. That's a major hurricane. And let's get right to what we're looking at here right now. Here it is on the satellite imagery, and you can see it's well organized. You can even see it continue to organize here through the early evening hours. Very, very strong banding, especially around that very discrete eye we see here. Category 3 storm with winds of 120 miles per hour. Gusts are near 130 miles an hour in some of the bands. The pressure has been rapidly falling now. 953 millibars. Movement is to the north at 12 miles per hour, and it is moving quickly and will make landfall tomorrow afternoon, likely around or just after 2 o'clock near Panama City and Panama City Beach. And actually, that's going to be in that right front quadrant right here, which is where we see the strongest winds and the highest storm surge. So that is something that's very concerning for Panama City right now. Next, we have the latest warnings here. Along much of the Florida coast, you're under a hurricane warning, as noted in purple. Out over here towards Tallahassee and the far western panhandle, you're under hurricane watch. As you get into Alabama, you're under a tropical storm warning, and Mississippi and parts of the Louisiana coast are under a tropical storm watch. Also towards Tampa, we are looking at a hurricane watch as well for you guys. I think the western coast here, the eastern coast of Florida rather. Well, no, that would be the western coast of Florida, wouldn't it? It's been a long day, folks. I'm sorry. Western coast of Florida, the Gulf Coast side of Florida. I think you're going to see some strong winds and perhaps some rain. I think the bands generally stay just offshore, but you'll see some tropical storm force to occasionally hurricane force winds right along the coast. Much of it is going to be up here in the panhandle, especially around Panama City. There's a lot of mandatory evacuations already in place and occurring as we speak right now in that area. And if you are or know somebody in that area, really now is the time to get out. You only have about 14 to 18 hours really to get out of the area before this makes landfall. That's the eye making landfall too, not the beginning of the outer bands or anything like that. Those will start impacting the area by tomorrow morning. So really, right now is the time you want to get out of there. If you're not already making those preparations, get out, head north, head towards Birmingham or anywhere else off to the north and northwest. Do not head northeast towards Atlanta or anything like that. You will end up kind of just outrunning a little bit, but it'll eventually catch up with you. And then you're going to have to deal with the heavy rain and the strong winds there as well. Not as strong. As this gets inland, Hurricane Michael does quickly taper off as it interacts with the landmass, and it also picks up a lot of speed. It gets picked up by a cold front that is currently moving across the central United States. I'll show you that here in just a moment. We have some tornado watches out for much of the Central Plains tonight too. Already a few tornadoes this evening out there too. But right now, the big concern is the hurricane that's going to impact Florida, of course. So let's take a look at that storm track. Michael's right here. As this is probably as about 4 p.m. this afternoon. It's moved slightly north of that position, but by 2 a.m. we're still out here. But look how quick. 12 hours later, we're just offshore of Panama. Panama is just to the east of that right here, kind of where that W's at in Wednesday. And then another 12 hours later, 2 a.m. Thursday, we're into southwestern Georgia already. And by Thursday afternoon, we're right over Columbia, South Carolina, and that motion just continues to get quicker and quicker as it gets picked up by that cold front, and it's back out in the Atlantic Ocean by Friday morning. So a very quick motion. Now, as this storm continues, still a tropical storm over South Carolina, as it continues moving, you will see plenty of rainfall. You're going to see some strong winds, and you're going to see some flooding, even into parts of South Carolina. Now, it's not going to be as bad as Florence, which just sat and lingered for days. This is a very quick-moving storm, but you will see flooding, especially in areas that have poor drainage, low-lying areas, and places like that. You will see occasional flooding in those spots. but we're not going to see the widespread catastrophic flooding in South Carolina by any means. We'll see plenty of rain, though. And let's actually take a look at that right now. This is from the Weather Prediction Center. It's a part of NOAA. And this is their precipitation forecast through Thursday night. This goes through 7 p.m. Thursday evening. You can see, look at the large swath of rain from the Gulf all the way into Florida, much of southwestern and central Georgia, and even into South Carolina. We're looking at anywhere in this bright color here. That's 7 to 10 inches of rain, folks. That's a lot of rain. The orange around it is 5 to 7, and as you get into the red, you're talking anywhere from 2.5 to 4 inches of rain. So that's a lot of rain in a very short period of time. It's Tuesday night, so you can imagine by Thursday night, only 48 hours from now, you're talking about 7 inches of rain in spots, if not locally higher amounts possible. Of course, you could be looking at anywhere from 8 to 10 inches right along the immediate Florida coastline. The flooding's not the only thing, folks, and I wish I could show you something with the storm surge, but the best graphic that I could find really does not do it any justice. We're looking at storm surge along the coast in some spots anywhere from 12 to 14 feet. In other areas, we're looking at 8 to 10 feet, 10 to 12 feet. We could be looking at locally higher storm surge values in some spots too. So I cannot underestimate the storm surge. The heavy rain and the flooding is one thing, but the storm surge is really what gets people, especially around Panama City and just to the east of Panama City. We are really looking at the potential for a lot of water coming out of the ocean and really inundating the coast over there. That fortunately won't have the ability to get too far inland, but you will see flooding inland to the coast, especially in Florida and parts of southwestern Georgia towards Albany. You are going to see some flooding from the rain, but the storm surge is what catches everybody off guard. So I cannot stress that enough. If you are near the coast, if you are at the coast tonight, you need to get inland because that storm surge, yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot. 12 to 14 feet, okay, that's not that bad. You think about it, your standard room in your house is 8, 9 feet. It would fill that easily and hit the second floor and then some. So you're talking about a lot of water. So if you're near or at the coast tonight, you must get inland. The best places to go, again, likely in Alabama towards Birmingham or even towards the western side of Alabama, likely the best place to go. Do not go up to the north or even to the east. You know, get into Alabama. Even, you know, you want to go as far as Mississippi just to get way out of the way, that's great too. You're not going to see too much out there. But yeah, stay out of Georgia, especially southwestern Georgia. You're really only causing a slight delay to the inevitable coming your way. So that is something that I would personally suggest is going to the north and northwest out of that area. That's the best option for you right now. So again, I cannot stress enough, if you're near the coast, if you're at the coast tonight, if you're in Panama City or you know somebody in Panama City tonight, give them a call. Get out of Panama City. Get away from the coast. This isn't something to play around with, folks. It's a Category 3 storm. Okay, it's not the monster Category 5. It's not a Hurricane Katrina or anything like that. I don't want to sound over dramatic with it, but it is a very dangerous and powerful storm. It has motion to it. It's not going to diminish in intensity right before it hits land. It's going to come ashore as a Category 3 storm. It's not going to slow down. There's no signs of it slowing down. It's going to maintain its present speed, if not pick up a little speed. It's going to maintain its present intensity, if not pick up a little bit more before it hits the shore of Florida tomorrow afternoon. So I cannot stress that enough. This isn't going to just dwindle its way. It'll fizzle out some before it gets here. It won't be that bad. No. Get out of the way. Play it safe rather than sorry. The last thing you want is the authorities calling your relatives and your friends saying, we can't find you or anything like that. We don't want that here either. I'm going to switch over to our other computer here real quick, and we're going to pull up just the radar over here. Now, if it'll go. There we are. Excellent. That. Okay, cool. So here's what we're looking at here, folks, this evening. Tornado watches from Wisconsin all the way down into Arkansas this evening, and that is a powerful cold front. This is actually going to pick up the hurricane and bring it off the coast, too. It's headed this way. So on the East Coast, where we are experiencing like fifth summer right now, especially here in the Cleveland, Ohio area where we set a record high yesterday and tied ours today. This is going to end summer, folks, with a bang. It's really going to start cooling down here late week for the East Coast, where it has been abnormally warm for the beginning of October. And look what else we're talking about here. How about some snow, folks? Snow across, Nebraska and northwestern Kansas in early October. Yeah, that's a little too soon. And it's sticking. It's sticking out in Colorado as well. It's in the 30s. The ground's warm, so it's not going to stick around forever. It is going to warm back up out there well above freezing, although it might take a day or two to get there, and it may not be much above freezing. We might be talking upper 30s or 40s before we rebound a little bit. But yeah, how about a few inches of snow out there? I did see a 7-inch snowfall report earlier, so this is no joke snow. This isn't something that's just hitting the ground and looks pretty and melts and makes the air look pretty. No, it's sticking and causing problems out there, and it's October. But this isn't unusual. We were looking at this. It's a little unusual to see snow there at this point in October, but it's not all that unusual. And as you can see, with all of that, we do have the colder air up here into the northern plains and into the northern Rockies as well, with snow up into the northern Rockies too. Also, we do have some tornado warnings as well this evening across portions. Well, they're all, actually, all of our tornado warnings are inactive right now, which is great. Just the tornado watches. We had an earlier report of a tornado just a little south of Des Moines and Warren, Iowa, a brief rope tornado. I'm just going to kind of click back in time to get some of these reports, if you will bear with me here just a moment. We also had another report of a tornado on the ground in Zion, Iowa. That's about 5 miles west of Macksburg in Adair County, Iowa. Also some strong winds up near Fox Lake in Wisconsin, estimated 60 miles an hour. Another 45-mile-an-hour wind report near, that's near in Vernon County, Wisconsin. And also some hail up that way too, near Lake Polygon. And also, the other one wants to come up, Borth, Wisconsin too. So that's 1.5 inches hail. So we also had some hail as well. So quite the spectacle this evening in the weather department. These tornado watches do expire. The one across south central Missouri and into Arkansas expires at 8 p.m. CDT. So you got about another half hour in that. And I do believe the latest is that they're going to let that expire. Your other watch across much of Iowa this evening, and what was into Missouri earlier, expires at 9 p.m. CDT. So you're looking at about another hour and a half on that watch. And we also have a tornado watch that goes into northeastern Iowa and parts of Wisconsin. That goes until 10 p.m. CDT. So you're looking at a couple more hours on that as well. I do not believe that they are looking at extending any of these watches right now. Looks like from the Storm Prediction Center, isolated brief tornado threat will continue, then any rotating cells early this evening. So what's going to end up happening here is these cells are going to pretty much stop rotating. They're going to lose their punch a little bit because, well, it's getting to be nighttime. And because it's getting to be nighttime, it is cooling down. It's stabilizing. So all this stuff here is going to kind of lose the bit of dynamics that it needs. Now, you do have strong low pressure here right over, what's that's going to be? It's going to be northeastern Kansas. And that's the big focal point for all of this stuff. And that's one of the reasons why we have the tornado watches where they are, actually, on the proper side of the low. So what we have is we're going to lose the main dynamics of heat, the daytime heating. And some of this stuff is just outrunning where the best dynamics are in terms of wind shear aloft. So that's all part of it. And I do think this is going to eventually calm down some, but we could see some more strong storms off to the east there for your day on Wednesday as this again picks up and starts moving off to the east through the next couple of days. For here in Ohio locally, for my Ohio folks that are watching this evening, Thursday is going to be a day of change. Showers and thunderstorms are likely, and the temperatures are going to be falling. Storms should start sometime Wednesday night, early Thursday morning before daybreak. Showers and storms continuing into the morning with temperatures falling through the late morning and afternoon hours. We'll likely probably somewhere around midnight start off in the upper 60s, around 70. We'll crash through the 60s and 50s during the day. And then the end of the week, into the weekend, we're looking at 50s for highs. Something a little bit more normal for October here in Ohio. And that, again, that cold front, low pressure system going to push off to the east and really bring a lot of more colder air, if you will, to the region. Something a little bit more average for mid-October. So, and I think it's going to stay there. We could see one more shot of warm air. Sometimes we do late October, early November. That's yet to be seen. I think right now we are going to remain more on the average side, the chillier side. You'll have to break out the jackets finally as well. I'm going to check here on social media, see if we got any comments, questions, anything like that. If anybody would like to ask anything, please go ahead and post it. Unfortunately, the only thing I can get on, I can't get on YouTube Live if you're watching me on there right now. Hello to everybody. Yes, thank you very much. Leo and Jennifer, I appreciate it. And let's see, I don't think we have any others here. We do not. Okay, very cool. All right, well with that, again, I can't stress enough on the folks this evening in Florida that may be watching us. And if you're near Panama City, if you're in Panama City tonight, if you have friends there, if you have family or relatives there, give them a call. Tell them to leave. Tell them to get out of Florida, out of the Panhandle. It's just not safe. So err on the side of caution. Stay safe. Get out of the storm's path. Don't try to ride it out. Just get out of the way. And things could be a lot better for you. You remember, a house, your car, the belongings, it's just stuff. They can all be replaced, but you cannot be replaced. So definitely get out of the storm's way. We're going to keep an eye on it, and we'll do our best through the day on Wednesday to provide any updates on our Facebook pages and also on our Twitter and Instagram feeds. For now, I'm forecaster Mark Spencer from Neoweather. Have yourself a good evening.